I'm back to the brake controller on the Traverse. Now, I've already gotten a little bit done. I got a bunch of wires here, and what I've been doing is continuity tests. I have not checked the brake, but that shouldn't be a factor at this point in time. I did check the blue wire, and that's perfect continuity. Hooked it up to the positive battery terminal, put it on the black wire, which is the power, and the meter went blank. Then hooked it up to the negative, put it on the negative terminal. It's reading ohms, but it's not beeping for whatever reason. But if I put it on the black wire, when it's connected to the negative, it shows a negative symbol and then it beeps. So yeah, it's either my power or my ground. So we're gonna go try to chase down some wires and do some more continuity tests to see if we can figure out exactly what the heck is going on here. All right, so I got my wire going back to the battery. It's on the positive terminal. I believe that's what the fuse is going. I already pulled the fuse out. Got my meter set here to ohms. So I don't know which one of these is gonna be the connector, so we'll try them both to see what happens, but that does nothing. That we got continuity through. So from this is the side that hooks to the battery. This side should go to the plug. Paper clip to the rescue. I got the wire connected right there. Okay, so we're connected there. I already forgot which side was hot and which side wasn't, but I'll have to go back in the video and see. It's coming up with negative beeping on this one, which usually means it's backwards somehow. And then this one, we got nothing. So I reviewed my last video, and this is the side that goes to the battery, hence why it's reading negative. Somehow it's still making contact to the battery, but it's not going through the fuse. There, this one should be beeping on this side. So, well, looks like we got some kind of break in the system between here and there. And there's a couple ways to go about this, and this is, I'm thinking, the way I'm going to tackle this. One is to go chase down all the wires in the car, do a very thorough job trying to figure out where that wire is going to see if there's any breaks. It is possible that there was an accessory put in here, I don't know, a Dixie horn or a La Cucaracha horn or something, maybe, I don't know, that got put in here and was taken out before we purchased it, and those wires might just be floating around or something. And then what we can look at doing is fixing that problem. The other problem could be my connections underneath the dashboard. So what I will probably end up doing, if I can't find anything after trying to do a half-butt job chasing down the wires and making sure things are connected, I will probably go ahead and check that. I'll pull that out and make sure I see if I got continuity through the fuse to there. And if I do, that means it was probably my connection, and I just go ahead and fix that connection. Now, next plan would be to take apart the fuse box, run my own wire straight back in there, fused in the fuse box, and just disconnect whatever one was there that's came out of the factory, and that should give me the power I need to run it. So we've got a plan of action. One of the ideas I thought was maybe the plug that I had gotten from Amazon was bad. It was also labeled as a different brand, but I ordered a second one. They are literally identical. They're both Delphi. The pins are in the same place, everything. So that's definitely not the issue. So looks like I'm gonna have to probably disconnect the battery and go into the fuse box right here, figure out how everything's connected. I'll do that later because this car needs to be used tonight. So before I get started, because I'm in a whole nother day, but before I get started, I'm going to do a few more checks. What I did is I disconnected the connection I had made onto the plug for the power. And the reason why I did that was because regardless of where I'm going to go, however I'm going to move forward, that's got to happen. So I might as well go ahead and check that connection, make sure before, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run another wire through here. I'm just going to go into the fuse box, run the wire through the firewall directly to the box. and that's probably how the wire goes, but I don't know if there's a break in that. I'm going to do a continuity check from the wire that comes into the vehicle from here without my connection, without that plug on it, and see if we got continuity or not. And then after that, I'm actually going to take the same fused wire here. I'm going to connect one of these alligator clips to the battery, the other one I'll connect to the wiring harness, plug it in, and see if I get power, and that will tell me whether or not that's the big problem or not. Set the meter so we can do our continuity check. Plug this in. That's beeping negative. That side's not beeping at all. I have to figure out which one was the battery side. I'll go back in the video and figure that out. That's one of the good things about videoing this is you can, when you forget things, you can go check them. But that might be good, even though it's reading negative. I can change the leads and see if that changes anything. Okay, so I checked that there's no power. Now what I did here is I took the lead wire with my alligator clip, clipped it on to the wiring harness, to the power section, and that will go straight to the battery. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and plug in the controller, and we will see what happens. All right, so I got everything plugged in, and we still don't have what we need. Well, on a new day, went and did some more research. I ordered a new brake controller. I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But after doing some research, checking out some forums, I did find a wiring diagram for the connections. And apparently GM did something really weird with these wires. So I'll go through that as I'm doing these continuity tests. So apparently the black wire on here is not the power, like on every other trailer wiring. It's the red wire. That's the power. So we're going to go ahead and pop this into the red wire. It's on the... Yep. It's actually on the red battery terminal, the positive battery terminal. So there is our power. I'm going to just go through these and check, but basically, to give it to you, the red is the power, the black is the ground, the white is the brake, and the blue then goes to the back. That's the only one that they use that's normal, and that's on the vehicle side. So on the trailer side, I do still have to deal with the standard trailer connectors. So this might have been my problem. I did buy a new brake controller. I haven't figured out which one I'm going to use or which one I'm going to keep, or even if the old one still works, because that one was plugged in, it might be fried. So we'll get this all fixed up, and I'm just going to do all my checks and make sure everything's the way it should be. Time for the moment of truth. So we got power. I'll have to see what that blinking light means. Oh, there it goes. So it looks like we've had success. Now I wonder if I destroyed my other. Okay, so the other one's plugged in and nothing. Oh, wait a minute, what's that? Okay, so for whatever reason, when I hit the button here, it does go on. So I don't know if that means something's broken or what, but that might be okay. It's getting some kind of power. Anyways, I know this one works for sure. I'm going to tell you the difference about what I actually went with this one. Okay, now that we've figured out all this wiring stuff, I probably should note this is for first gen Traverse. If I can find the links to the forum I was looking at before, I'll put it down in the description. I actually just downloaded the image that's how for the wiring diagram, but in case I can't, I'll put the picture of the wiring diagram up right now. And I'll leave it up for a little while, so in case you have to pause it, you can go ahead and pause it. And so if you look able to see the wiring diagram, you can see that the black wire on the vehicle side is actually the ground, and the red wire on the vehicle side is actually the power, and the white wire on the vehicle side is actually your brake control. On the opposite end, the white wire would go to the red wire, which is standard trailer electrical stuff. The black wire, the black wire will go to the white wire. The white wire will go to the red wire, and the white wire will go, or I'm sorry, what color wire am I missing here? The red wire goes to the black wire on the harness. Now, this probably would have been fixed if I would have just had the adapter and been able to plug it in and realize that was there. So keep that in mind. There's a harness that you can plug in to the existing plug. So talking about the brake controllers, this is a time delayed brake controller, this Pilot, and this is the more standard one because it's cheaper, probably. But ultimately what it has, when you put the brake pedal on, it senses how long the brake pedal's on for, and then it brings the brakes out on the trailer accordingly. So this one here, which I picked up for about $50 on Amazon, is a proportional brake controller. What it does is as the vehicle stops, it senses the forward-backward motion of the vehicle and applies the brakes on the trailer accordingly to the forward and backward motion. So if you slam on the brakes and it goes really quick, it'll slam on the brakes on the trailer. If you have a nice, very gradual stop, it'll put a nice, very gradual stop onto the trailer brakes. If it doesn't feel anything because you're just that good at stopping, well, then it won't apply the trailer brakes at all. This is supposed to be better for the vehicle as well as the trailer brakes, the brakes on both the vehicle and the trailer. So that's one of the reasons why I picked this one up. This is actually probably the one I'm going to use. What I might do is just throw this in the vehicle. Oops, I don't want to break it. Those are garbage bags, don't worry. Probably just throw this in the vehicle when I go on my trip, and if there's something going on, I got a backup, I guess you can say, to that particular one. But I'm going to try the proportional. I've only used time before. I've only driven like 1 or 2 trailers with brakes before in my life, and it was always, actually I think it was always on my Ram, and it's always, and that one has a timed controller. So I'm interested to see how well the proportional works, and apparently it is supposed to be better for the vehicle and the trailer, so at least the brake parts of it. So that's what we're going to go with. So I just got to get this thing mounted. One of the things, when you deal with the timed, you can basically put this thing anywhere in any kind of configuration. You can point it up like this, or have it upside down or right side up. When you deal with the proportional, because of all the sensors inside of it, it has to be pretty much straight up and down, flat, and you have to... you can't have it on too much of a slant. I have to look up in the instructions, but you got to have so much. You can only have so much of a slope. It will actually sense slopes, apparently, when you're going up and down hills, and I guess it adjusts for that as well. Anyways, got this brake controller fixed, this whole issue, and all you Chevy guys that want to brag about your Chevys, don't do it to me, because I just dealt with a nightmare with a Chevy. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Figures. You clean up, you get done, then you find the flashlight you were looking for to get this job done.